Hi, Brandon Hardison, President of Champion Strategies, with our ongoing series of public speaking because you would like to be in the front of the room. Going to pick it up from the last video when we were talking about the history of public speaking, going from way back with those guys like Socrates and whatnot. Which brings us now to the Renaissance period between 1400 and 1600. Powered by a new intellectual movement during this period, we had secular institutions and governments starting to compete with the church for personal allegiances. Ideas surrounding issues of style and speaking situation received significant attention during the Renaissance period. We've had many players who spoke up saying that individuals in the public square should be free to speak or debate on such issues. You had people on both sides during the Renaissance, whether it was Ramos, who lived from 1515 to 1572, or another gentleman that you probably heard of, Mr. Francis Bacon, from 1561 to 1626. Both were great orators. One was a prodigy of Shakespeare, but they started to tell the world that it's all right to speak what's on your mind. And better yet, let's find a way to debate about it. Remember, no TVs, no iPhones, none of the technology. This was entertainment for a lot of the citizenry to watch some of these great ones debate on the issues of the day. But public speaking, how they spoke, what they talked on, that was the key phrase that would shape public speaking to what we know now today. After they were through, there was something in the world called the Enlightenment, which ran from 1600 to about 1800. Now, when we look at this period, there was a gentleman called George Campbell, who lived from 1719 to 1776, a Scottish minister and educator. He tried to create convincing arguments using scientific and more reasoning by seeking understanding how people use speech to persuade others to get what they want. And then we have a different approach that started to come in to the mid 1800s. And that's where style, structures, and rules for speaking in the public domain started to come in. So, overall, the Enlightenment period served a bridge that we needed to be crossed between the past and the present. Political rhetoric always underwent renewal and scrutiny, just like it did in any country. But the United States, we most recently came off of a series of debates. So, debating and the debating history that the person wrote me that long before you probably even thought about it, they were doing this. Now, some of the people who were leading this effort in this country included John Quincy Adams, who was a big advocate of the democratic advancement of the art of rhetoric. Boy, isn't that a fancy word there? So let's bring it up to today, the 1900s, the 2000s to now. Through the 20th century, rhetoric development as concentrated fields of study, or in other words, the overview of communication. Let's take out public speaking and let's put some rules, some guidelines to make this kind of historic. One of the most historic in the United States in the 1800s, if you remember the famous Lincoln Douglas debate. We still use that format in many of our high schools and college. One person, not a team of debate, but one-on-one debate. It's called Lincoln Douglas Debate. Bring it up on YouTube and you can see that. So I guess what I'm saying to the person who asked me the history of public speaking, it's always been evolving. Remember, communication departments and the professors who are in there today, they study, they taught the classics, but we try to put emphasis every time social change comes around. Now, if you would like to know more, there are great organizations out there. We have touched on many of them. You can find them online. There's great 2 4-year institutions on communications where public speaking comes out, or there are organizations that'll just talk about public speaking. But there is a price to pay. But if you would love to be in this outstanding arena, we call it front of the room, I would say do your due diligence, do your research, and you just might find something that you would enjoy doing. Once again, Brandon Hardison, President Champion Strategies, with our ongoing series of public speaking. As always, in parting, you go out and you make it a champion day.